Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Helena. I'm from Gink Design and tonight I am talking to the beautiful, fabulous, talented Miss Dionne Woods from the Turquoise Artist. This will be the first of the Furniture Painters Unite Group's member spotlight, and we're going to talk to Dionne and get to know all about her and her fantastic business. Hi
Hey
Dionne.
everybody. Hi Helena. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for joining.
My gosh, thanks for having me. This is wonderful. It has to be a little bit later where you are than where I am in Oklahoma.
It is 8 p.m. or just after 8 p.m. and it's winter, so it gets dark from 4 p.m.
4?
4. So
That's rude.
it's
That's so
dark.
rude.
You go to work, you come home, it's dark. It's rude. It's rude.
It's rude. I don't like that.
Mhm.
Well, it's I think it's what, 2 o'clock here in Oklahoma. So thank you for taking your Friday night. It sounds like you kind of party the way that I do on Friday nights. You are online and just hang out with other furniture artists.
Yes, and on a Saturday night, the Furniture Painters Unite Group has a Zoom call where we all are known to have more gin and more wine than actual paint talk. Um, so that's good fun.
I
Um,
bet.
So for anyone who has been living on Mars, your name is Dionne Woods and your business name is the Turquoise Artist. And any Google search, any Facebook search, any Instagram search, any web search will bring up the Turquoise Artist. So can you tell everyone how you got started?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. That's a 12-year journey so far. I started my business in 2010, and I was still working part-time in women's fashion, selling upper scale shoes and handbags. And I had 2 little boys, and which of course are my driving force for working the way that I do and why I'm doing what I do, or why I started, shall I say. Now I know I need to do this
Yeah.
creative for my own soul, but they were definitely the driving force. Helena, I have always been a creative person as far as decorating, or I was kind of the friend who would come over to your house and say, "Hey, can we move that over there and, like, hang that there? And, that would look better." And most of the time it was received well, but not always.
I
But
can
I was
imagine.
I was always wanting to, like, move
Yeah.
spaces and paint spaces. My mom taught me from a very early age, if you wanted it done, you can do it. So paint it, move it, build it, whatever. I mean, my mom was always a DIYer. My parents actually, before I was well, they were married 10 years, and in 10 years, they moved 7 times. So
Wow.
I think I just watched a lot of home improvement happen right before my eyes before I even understood what I was watching. So my thought was, okay, I know how to use a sewing machine. I'll make tablecloths, I'll make pillowcases. There's this thing called Etsy, and I had no idea what it was, but my friend told me she was making picture frames. And she said, "You can make all these things that you make." And that was when I was a lot more crafty than I am now. Um, and so I started just sewing and making things, and I was just desperate to get out of the retail side of things where I had been for about 15 years and get into doing my own thing. I got laid off from that job because I wouldn't work on Saturdays because little boys play
Yeah.
baseball on Saturdays. A mom is not gonna miss it. So I got laid off, and I decided that was it. I'm gonna figure this out. They said, "Dionne, you're more talented than you give yourself credit for. You already have your Etsy store, just go push that."
Yeah.
So I just started playing around. I would go to thrift stores and I would buy things that I thought I could resell, decor, turquoise vases, and I'd put them on Etsy, and then they started selling. And I remember thinking, "Now what? I don't know what to do." It's 2010, it's 2011, 2012. But a couple of times I started picking up furniture, and there were a couple of times I put them online, holding my breath, waiting. I was posting on Miss Mustard Seed. Everybody know her. Hello.
Yes.
Whoop,
Hello.
whoop. I was posting on her Friday feature blog. And I was just praying that she would pick me, Helena, that she would like something I painted and pick me. And when she did it, the first time I can remember the piece, I can remember I used 2 shades of blue on it. And I distressed the top coat back and showed that underlayer. And this was probably 2011. And I cried and ran through the house like a fool, and nobody knew Miss Mustard Seed, and nobody knew Etsy, nobody knew anything of what I was doing. They just thought I was Elijah and Holden's mom showing
Yeah.
up at the baseball games. That was it. Meanwhile, I am hustling my tail off every single day, going and trying to find the cheapest piece of furniture and make it look like the most expensive piece of furniture.
Yeah.
People started buying things on Etsy. I would ask, hey, I'm selling furniture and I would really like to know how you're shipping these. And I got nothing.
Oh, really?
I got no help. The Etsy people were not
Oh,
like, the furniture artists weren't sharing their stuff the way they are now. I'm telling you, if you weren't doing this 10 years ago, you don't even know what it was like. There was none of this community. It was definitely competition. They were in the Chicago area and they gave me like a one-liner. We have a moving company that comes every Friday and picks up our pieces of furniture. And that was it. And I would say, well,
yeah.
how do you, nothing. So I just had to figure it out all on my own. I cried a lot, but I did know that when I created those blues together, and I had that teal and I had the navy, and the piece sold, and the joy that I found painting it and then selling it was like, okay, I want more of that.
It is addictive, isn't it? It is our drug. It
It is our
definitely.
drug. It's our
And I
drug,
think,
and the fact that I can paint something and somebody wants it and will pay like $500 for it, you gotta be kidding me,
yeah. Yeah,
right?
yeah, I agree. And I think that's very important why we do have a community, because only other people understand that high, that emotion, that just, yeah, and the roller coaster that you go on before it reaches the client, through that phase from when it leaves you till it reaches them, that anxiety and fear and dread. So yeah, that's why it's very important to have a community and friends who understand.
It absolutely
Yeah.
is. It absolutely is. It helped me understand also that what I didn't wanna do anymore was sew pillowcases and flip little $2 vases for
Mhm.
$8 and sell, silver trays. I was just done with that. I even at one point, Helena, I brought vintage dresses and modeled them myself and would try to flip them for like 3 times the price, and they all sold. But I was doing anything I could because I was so determined to stay home with these boys and be available because my husband's self-employed. He was be working 60 hours a week, and we were just it was out of desperation. I did this because we needed the money to pay our bills.
Yeah.
So I was willing to do
Yeah.
whatever. But I started building that. Um, there became less tiers slowly but surely, and I started gaining momentum. I get bored easily, so I figured out really quickly the more colors I could put on a piece, the more excited I was, and the more that my little heart would just pitter patter when the colors started blending and doing all of these
Mhm.
things. We ended up moving, so I had better Wi-Fi connection, and
Yeah.
about that time, Facebook said you can go live, and I remember thinking, who in the world would go live? Why would you do that? Like, that's like death. That's a death sentence. Like, I can't speak on live. I certainly couldn't speak
Mhm.
on a computer or have anybody looking at me. I was the type that quit 2 jobs because I was told you would need to stand up on that and introduce, and speak. And I'm like,
Wow.
peace out.
Well, you've
Peace
been
out.
on a journey then. You've definitely been on a journey.
I have. I've danced my way back up to the microphone, into the speaker, into the stage, and I have found that, my friend, is what living is about. I have been scared of every move I've ever made. I have been, I've cried more tears than you can imagine, and I have just spent 40 years of my life scared. And now that I'm 45, I am no longer going to say no to an opportunity out of fear. I might say no because it's not the right time. I have a
Mhm.
16-year-old still. I might say no because it just doesn't feel right. It's not in my ethics, my morals, something like that. But it's not going to be out of fear. And what has helped me grow into that was literally doing Facebook Lives, Helena. I don't know. Do you do them?
Yes, yes, I do them. Yes, I do them every Sunday. And the first few were disaster. I forgot to turn on my camera, and the next one I forgot to turn on my microphone. So, and I think I've posted them on YouTube anyway. Just, they're up there and they're fun, and it shows that, everything goes wrong. Doesn't matter.
Everything. It
Just
doesn't
keep
matter.
going. Just keep going. The very first one I did, the lighting wasn't great. I didn't have light boxes or anything, and I thought that every Facebook Live you had to give away stuff. I don't know why I thought that. And I started giving away, and everyone's got excited. So I actually started lifting things off my shelf, like ornaments I had bought with my whole decor, and I started giving stuff away. So you have to do giveaways, and I was giving my house away and giving my stuff away, but it was great fun. It was great fun. And the very first one I did a live painting. I don't know why I thought from a very first ever that would be appropriate, because I was petrified. But then, as you say, once you get over that, and once everything that can go wrong goes wrong, well, that's it then, and you're
That's
still
right.
there. It's okay.
You lived. I always tell my coaching people, I'm always like, guys, you didn't die. Let's be real. You didn't die. You survived it. Let's do it. Let's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Come on.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, Helena. I just my business coach was Jennifer Allwood, still is. Jennifer Allwood had said Facebook Live, and she started doing it like every day. And she said, "Do it, Dionne, do it. If you want your business to grow, you better do it, because Facebook is paying attention to this." That was over 5 years ago. And I pushed play, and nothing came out of my mouth. I was speechless. I froze. I was sweating here and everywhere. And I just thought, I can't speak. Um, and I didn't. I just turned it off. But what I was even going to do is just to show a piece of furniture that I had just staged. And I was like,
Mhm.
look at this, look at this. And that's how Jennifer Allwood found me also. She put me on a webinar with Etsy as the Etsy expert, because she found me because of my staging. And she found me because she says, every time I scroll Pinterest or whatever, you pop up and I notice your work. And so I want you to teach my peeps about this as well. So that was such a great thing that she did for me. It gave me so many more followers. It also helped my confidence. And what I've learned is, when Miss Mustard Seed shared my furniture, Helena, and Jennifer Allwood asked me to be the expert on as Etsy topic, I just remember thinking, these ladies are huge in their industry and they're coming to me wanting help. So I should pay attention for once. I should actually
Mhm.
take that as a, like, okay, maybe I am okay at this. So once you start believing those things, they
Yeah.
weren't being paid to reach out to me. Um, that helped my confidence, and that and it's just
Then you went on to do a Friday night live. So you went from being afraid to do Facebook Lives to every Friday night doing a Friday night live where you had guests and you were helping. Like, to me, I still see that. I see that as support. You were helping other people get over their fears, other furniture painters get over their fears. And I think with your podcast as well,
okay.
when you interview people, you're helping. I think everything you do, you're helping other people get over the fears that you had. So you totally understand. You understand that we're all just
Completely.
ordinary little people,
I
but we need
completely
to do.
understand, and my goal at this point in my life is to become a better servant, and so I always think, "How can I serve more? How can I serve better?" And when I started going live, it was about a year later, and Jennifer Allwood had said Friday nights are her best time to go live. So I started my membership group called the Creative Connection in August of 2017. And then in October, she gave us a 90-day challenge, those that were in her group. And I was like, 90 days in a row? You've got to be kidding me. So I started this Friday thing. I started on a Friday and I started going into, I brought on Jamie Ray Vintage and I brought on Debbie Beard and I brought on different women. And then I brought on Quita in December. It was like December 8th or something. And she had never done a live before. She was petrified, but she had like 13,000 followers, and she was scared to death.
Yeah, she told me she was.
She had the most beautiful furniture, and we clicked really well. We had such a great time, and so the next Friday, I said, "Do you wanna come back? Do you wanna come back?" And I just kept saying, "Do you wanna come back?" And so I gave it a name called Friday Night Live, and it became like a show, and on 1 year, we celebrated. We had a big party here in Oklahoma, and we had T-shirts made, and we had 50 women come here and celebrate with us, do the live with us, and it was just one of those experiences that I helped her come out of her shell, and she pulled me into, like, me being able to be myself, whereas I didn't always have to be scripted. I could be silly, I could dance, I could sing, I could eat chocolate in a camera in a costume, like,
Yeah.
just but we had fun, and then um it truly became like a fun little party where everybody started showing back up. So I got through my 90 days in 2017, and then I did it again the next 2 years. and I went up to 100 days. So I already went live 2 or 3 times a week, but then I started doing it every day, October, November, December. I definitely think that going live catapulted my business into becoming more of a frequent person in my community, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And showing up to just paint for a few minutes. What am I doing? How am I doing it? See the mess. The main thing, because of the way I started painting, Helena, with the drips and blending a lot of colors, I started using a water bottle. And I'm not kidding you. I remember sitting there saying, okay, I'm going to show them that I'm actually spraying the water on the
Yeah.
furniture. And they're either going to unfollow me and this is the end of me right here, or this could go really well. We'll
Yeah.
see. And I was just like sweaty, probably cried afterwards. Um, but people are like, wait, you're spraying water on furniture? Wait, wait. And yeah, I am. I'm creating an art piece on a piece of furniture.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take it to the next level. I got tired of people not taking all of us furniture artists serious. I got tired of people calling us furniture flippers and people who
Yeah.
deserve to put our stuff at just a thrift store. And I thought, no, 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 no. We're going to level up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Like, let's turn this stuff into art because we can, but let's do it together. So starting the membership group, doing Friday Night Live, I started going live on Sundays and started going live on Wednesdays. And through the membership groups, I would pull, and I still do this. I call it Talk to Me Tuesday, and it's been over 4 years. I pull up a member and just say, share your story. We want to hear who you are,
Yeah.
and push the little Facebook buttons that don't work sometimes and that cause me to be totally stressed out sometimes.
Yeah.
So to this date, where, like I said, I opened that in 2017, we have over 550 members in the Creative Connection. I do a one-on-one mentoring where you can hire me for 1 hour a month. And it's a 6-month program, and we go into branding, mindset. That's a big one. If the minds
Yeah,
if the
I think
mind
so.
if the mindset's boggled down, we can't really create very well. So we work on mindset for a whole month. Right now we're in the middle of marketing, and after that we'll do staging and photography. We'll do a little bit of painting, and then we end with social media. And I actually bring each one of them onto my Friday Night Live to be interviewed and to talk
Okay.
and just kind of introduce my audience to them as well. It's part of their challenge.
Well, that is, and is your membership group or that group, is it open? Is it open? Can someone who's watching this think, "Do you know what? I need that in my life. I am a furniture artist, but I don't know anything. I can't market. I can't." Can they join your group? Is it open
It's
for
open for
admission?
anyone. It's open for anyone. We're not open all the time. I usually open it just 2 or 3 days per quarter, Helena, because once the new people get in, I like to have a welcome
Yeah.
meeting and like focus on. But we have over 4 years of content, so I've never deleted anything. So when you sign
Yeah.
up, you get like hundreds of tutorials, like
Yes,
everything
straight
I've
away.
ever. It's
Yeah.
all there. It's just like a
Yeah.
library. You check out what you need. So it is open. It will. I actually started an annual membership this year as well. So it is open. It's called the Creative Connection. All of that information is on my website for anybody that's interested. My main goal is to take out the frustrating part that I had to deal with for so many years
Yeah.
and giving you like a little cheat sheet to move forward. And also, I realize the importance of my community and how they helped me build my business just by believing in me and encouraging and loving on me. And that's all I'm going to do is give it right back to you. So we have a heart talk every Friday. I just finished that. We have retreats coming up where we can meet in person and do canvas, do furniture, do business, do videos. Next time we're actually going to do like a little photo shoot where they can leave the retreat and go home and have a really pretty picture to go home and put on their social media, because sometimes just getting a picture is, so stressful to people. So I'm trying to take
Yeah.
out the hard stuff and
Well,
soft
and
items.
I think people starting now are at an advantage, because when you started, there wouldn't have been, as you said, there was Etsy, but there wouldn't have been Facebook Marketplace. There
Yeah.
wouldn't have, there wouldn't have been website. The website, there's lots of website hosting. You can just download an app and you can have your own website. But when you was started out, there wouldn't have been um, all of that. So I
Right.
think I think we sort of have an advantage, that we have all this at our disposal. But the problem is we don't know how to utilize it. So so that's why we would need people. We need people like yourself to who you have went through this industry and you have made it a business. You have branched out from the front, you've brought it into fashion, you've brought it into different areas. I still think that when I see your staging and your pictures, I think, my goodness, that is a top interior designer right there. That lady is, you know, I watched a video one time and you were pushing a piece of furniture around to get it into the perfect place to, and I was like, yep, yep, that's the
That's
sort of
what we
lady.
do.
That's what we need. We need to learn that it's not okay just to take a quick snap and say, oh, why is nobody buying it? You know, you have
It's
to,
not, it's not. And if you don't create a scroll stopper, because that's the thing, I got noticed for my staging. If you don't create a scroll stopper, what are you doing?
yeah,
Like, nobody's going to stop their scroll because we have an attention span of like 3 seconds. So if it doesn't
mm,
grab in 3 seconds, it's going to keep going. Now, obviously, it's going to appeal to a certain audience and not appeal to everybody, and that's okay too. But I spend hours prepping an idea for a piece to get it staged. I mean, we moved my sofa yesterday. We moved a blue velvet sofa, picked it up, moved it to a wall, moved this, set up the Christmas tree, all so I could get one kick butt photo.
yeah, and and it works and it pays off. So
Well,
yeah,
it
people need to sort of start learning all this stuff, and I think it's fantastic that you have these groups and that you're willing to give up your time because, as you say, you are a mother, you are a wife, you know you have a family, and yet you're still willing to give up a lot of, and you still create the most amazing, beautiful pieces of furniture. The magnolias you did last week or the week before,
thank
the
you.
bleeding hearts that you did last week, oh, they're just absolutely beautiful. And I could watch you painting those all day, and I could watch you doing the magnolias all day. So I don't know where you get all the time, but I do appreciate that the time that you have, you give it to teach, to mentor, and to share, which is fantastic. It's so
Thank
lovely.
you. I think that when you know what your purpose is, I do believe it's my purpose. I figured out that because I loved it so much, it's easier to do it. It's not fake. It's like what I know I'm supposed to be doing. And so when I do get tired, and I do, Helena, I get overwhelmed, and I think you can't possibly add one more thing to your plate. But then someone messages me, it never fails, and says,
Yeah,
I just want you to know last night I was in a really low place. And when you came on live and you started laughing and you and Matt started cutting up, I just want you to know it was the only time I'd laughed all week. And you got me out of bed this morning. And what am I
yeah,
supposed to do? I'm
yeah,
gonna show up for you, sister, because I love you. Like, I need you and you need me and we all need each other.
mhm,
So, I did that magnolia piece. I've never done magnolias, but I did that as a tutorial in my membership group. And I ended up giving that to my copywriter, one of my assistants. She works for me. So
oh,
I'm gonna ship it to Washington. And I'm so glad to have the resources to ship it from Oklahoma to Washington because
yeah.
that's like 20 hours.
Yeah, oh, that's lovely. That's lovely, and I think that's what it's all about. We are lowly, not lonely, but lowly and lonely too sometimes. We sometimes are isolated, and we do this alone a lot of the time, and sometimes we do it for our mental health. Sometimes
Yes,
we just, we're not doing it for money. People think, oh, you're just doing that because you can. Well, a lot of the time we're not. We're doing it for peace of mind, and we're doing it for our mental health and to de-stress and to
absolutely.
cope with trauma, whatever. And I love that you're building this community where we can all feel that we're not alone, and we can all feel that if we have a real bad day, that we can be supported. And I think that's very important to get across, that it's not about the financial gain or any other gain. A lot of it is about spiritual gain and
It's about a
connection.
spiritual and connection. And I'll tell you what, if you can spot someone that's doing it for the financial reasons only, because the, well, it's not sustainable. That's the thing. If someone does it, if you do try to do it only for financial gain, it's just not sustainable because you will have those hard times where you're tired or you're sick. I have had COVID. I had COVID and I did not miss going live because I said I would be there. And is that stubborn? Yeah. I mean, like, it's probably me being stubborn, but I needed to show up because I said that I would.
Yeah.
And it's that determination to make that connection and not to disappoint. Again, a little bit of stubborn, but it's easier to fall back and just get comfortable. And so I
Mm.
say get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where the real growth really, really happens. And it's not just my story, it's your story, it's everybody else's story that's listening. You can look back at a few years ago, and if you really take a look at all the things that you have done, even though they might feel tiny, they build up, babe. They're
Yeah,
big,
yeah,
they're build up, and you can say, "Oh, I did do that." And I did think to myself, there's no way I could have done that. I could have never done an interview with Helena right now. Like, there are things like that that make
yeah.
me go, well, yeah. And so it's not just my story, it's
Mm.
everybody else's story. And about 2.5 years ago, I went to Dallas, Texas, and there was a convention for Rachel Hollis. And that woman had a way of putting the light underneath my rear and just lighten me up with energy. And I thought, I'm going to go see her. So I went, and on the way home, literally on the way home, I was so fired up that I thought, I'm going to do one-on-one mentoring. I need to be doing more. I'm not doing enough. So I came home. I hired someone to help me get things organized, which is Cami, who I'm sending the magnolia dresser to right now. Michelle was already helping me do payments for my group. So it freed me up to do a little bit more.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
is what I'm saying.
you also, not everyone is good at every single thing. So you have to also
Right.
be aware of what you're not really good at and get help for that. And that's not a weakness, and that's just being smart.
And I'm not good at certain things. Like, I can tell you everything that I'm not good at, including cooking. Including cooking. I can't follow a recipe to save my life because I keep trying to change it up and add and take away and do all these
So,
silly things. But I came home and started a one-on-one mentoring program, and I thought there's more that I could be doing for some of these ladies. And so we're in now our 4th group. It's a 6-month program. And then I decided, because finger painting became something that was just play for me, and it was a tool that I put kind of in my toolbox, and thought, this is expanding my
mhm.
creativity by smearing the paint all over my hands and playing and doing things I was never allowed to do as a kid.
Okay, yeah,
Okay. And so
yeah,
I would finger paint, and then that painting would sell, and I would finger paint again and the painting would sell. And I would think, well, not only am I having a great time, they like it.
yeah,
So I'm going to keep going. So I started another membership last year where all we do is we show up on Thursdays and we finger paint together. We talk about really what's going on in here, clearing
mhm.
our mind, paying attention to our senses, what we're smelling and seeing and tasting and hearing, all of those senses, and just really appreciating the process and not the end product. Because whether
Okay,
it sells or not, we still have to grow our art practice. I'm a ball mom, and so I teach my boys, you can be 45 years old and retire from the MLB, and every single day that player has to go to batting practice and work in the cages and keep practicing, because he never reaches a level where he's done.
yeah,
Like your art practice, like your furniture artistry, you keep learning new things and you keep becoming excellent. You just don't get perfect, but you have to keep working on your art practice. So the finger
yeah,
painting became like a tool to use to really deepen our creativity.
yeah, and that's very tactile, which you're actually tactile wearing. You're wearing your
Love
paint
it.
and you're feeling it, and you're. I did see a video one time of you, and you were finger painting a piece of furniture, and I actually thought at the start when I saw it, it's one of those that you're scrolling, and I thought you were playing the piano, and I said, oh, can Dion play the piano? But you were finger painting.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, I actually thought you were playing the piano, but you were finger painting. So have you all the people say there's a lot of people in the Europe Furniture Painters Unite UK, and then the Europe group and the South Africa group. Have you a piece of advice that all starting out, all at different levels of beginning? Have you got any sort of nugget of advice that you would give somebody starting out?
Oh, absolutely. I have a ton of things that I would recommend and things I would say. And I want to remind people that finding out what you're not as great at is just as important as finding out what you are. And the only way that you're going to find out what you're really good at, or what you really love, or what makes this kind of pick up its speed a little bit, is by doing.
Yeah.
And so not waiting. That's the thing. Sometimes I have to coach women to just do it. Just get in there and do. It's just paint. It will definitely go through an ugly stage. I made that very clear when I started painting on live video that we're going to get ugly here in just a minute. So hold tight.
Yeah. Have
Like,
faith.
hold tight. We're going to get really ugly in this mess. But I promise you, if you tune back in the next couple of days, we're going to work our way through this. And I used to call it the awkward teenage years. I called it, I had that girl when I was 10 years old. I got called so many little nicknames, like from my brother mostly, because it was awkward. The teeth grew faster. I was head taller than everybody. And so I call that the awkward teenage years. I
Yeah.
don't know that everybody goes through them, but this girl did.
No, I think everybody, yes, everybody definitely goes through the little ugly stages. Like,
Yes. And I also remember creating things that I thought the quality of that was probably not up to par, but they liked it. I needed the money. And now I can look back and go, I know now what I should have done, but I
yeah,
didn't get it perfect. And I needed to understand that excellence was something to strive for, but perfection is fake and not real. So my
yeah.
advice to you is to just start. To do it. We wait, like you know how you get like china or you get candles and you wait for the perfect time or wait to start a family. It's the same thing with starting a business and trying to put your work out there. If you're over 40, you're probably of the age where you were taught not to self-promote, not to say, look at me, look what I
Mhm.
made, because it wasn't ladylike, it's not feminine, it's tacky. That's the way I was raised. And so
Mhm.
getting to a point where I could say, look what I did and not feel ashamed or embarrassed by
Yeah.
it. That
Yeah,
was a
you're right.
big,
You're so right. Here, I don't know if it's a European thing that you just do not. It's such an awkward, yeah, it goes against everything, every fiber. Um, to say everyone's very modest and shy, and nobody likes to say, I won an award. People, that's the way you say. You don't
yeah.
go, I won an award. You say, I won an award. because you're afraid that people might think you're above yourself, or you're yeah, so that's so right, so right.
And it's just to understand that. I think the younger girls are more okay with it. I feel like the 20 somethings that I know, because of the day and age of the cell phone, they know how to take a selfie better than anybody, right? So I
Yeah.
think they're learning it, and there needs to be a balance. I wouldn't say go all in, but I'm saying there is a balance where you can stay professional. But my advice to anybody who's listening or just starting out is to just do it. That is how you're going to learn. And if you focus on the end product every single time, you're going to mess up. You're going to ruin, you're going to put too much pressure here and too much pressure here. And it's not going to come out the way that you want it to.
Mm,
You just have to play. You have to learn how the paint you're using. I use a product called DIY paint. It's a clay based. So it blends really easily. It's all natural. It doesn't have a smell to it, but there are so many great paint lines on the market. You just have to find which one is best for you and
yeah,
best for your style. But once I found that one, I got stuck there, man. I'm like, this just made my job so much easier the way that I paint.
yeah, yeah, well, yeah, that's, you're right. You have to try all the paints, try all the different, and see which one suits you, or which one you love. I don't think we can get DIY here, although my friend Barbara, she did buy some and shipped it over for herself. She loves it at a big cost, so I'm quite jealous of that. Can we please talk about your hats? So you have
Sure.
took furniture painting and mentoring. We've talked about the podcast and your live. You have a beautiful live presence, but then
Thank you.
fashion. And when you said I didn't know you worked in fashion, in retail fashion. I didn't know that, but it makes sense now, because some of the photographs you have, you could be like you should have been a model too at some stage, because you put the hat on. You have the most beautiful fashion sense, and the hat just finishes it off. So your hats are retailing now. You have them on your website. I think there's a new release coming. Is it?
It happened 2.5 hours ago.
See, damn time difference.
It just happened,
Darn it,
Helena. So
darn it.
I will just tell you that when I first started working in fashion, I was 20 and I did model. I did model for all the stores. I worked for 3 or 4 different stores and they actually had me model the clothes. As shy as I was, it worked for me because I didn't have to speak, sister. I didn't have to say anything. And so I could stand there in a wedding dress or I could stand there and just smile. And finally, I think that helped me get comfortable behind the camera,
Yeah.
but not opening my mouth. That was the hard part. So um I did actually do that. And so I would have a few people tell me I worked for this woman and she was 85 years old when I went to work for her, okay? And so at 20 years old, it was a super upper scale in our area is called Nichols Hills. And the store was called Ruth Myers and she'd been in business for 30 years and it was so old school. Helena, when you walked in as a customer, you would tell the salesperson what you were looking for. They would go to the back, okay, and they would pull
Okay.
out. They wouldn't even ask you your size. You were just
Right.
supposed
Yeah.
to know. And so you would pull out a whole selection of clothes that you thought would look good on them, and then you would take them into your dressing room and show them like, "Ta-da! Here's these
Yeah.
dresses and here's these clothes, and I think this would look nice on you. Now I'm gonna leave the room and let you try them all on." And then I would walk out, and I made commission off that, but I remember the first time someone showed me a $2,000 dress and I was 20 years old. So that's 25 years ago.
That you could have bought a house. A house
Oh
you could
my
have
gosh. I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. And so I thought nobody's going to buy this thing. And sure enough, a gentleman walked in and said, "I'd like to buy this for my wife, but I'm not sure if it'll fit. Do you mind trying it on?" And I remember getting the heebie jeebies.
bought.
Like, what do you mean you want me to try this
I
dress on?
don't want to touch
But
it.
I put it on and he said, "Well, I think you guys are about the same size. So I'm going to buy it." He bought the dress. Um, I couldn't decide if I felt comfortable modeling clothes for this guy, but regardless, he was super professional. He was a doctor in town and he bought the $2,000 dress. And I loved that part of it, Helena. But you know what I found I loved more? I liked doing the windows and styling the mannequins and decorating the store. And I kept moving furniture. And I'd say, "Can we move this painting?" And they were like, "Would you just go sell clothes?" And I'm like, "But I'm bored out of my mind. I want to do all the things."
Yeah.
Uh, so I ended up quitting there and I went to work for more smaller, like individually owned companies that were real small. And I did learn putting clothes together. That's my mom's thing, man. My mom she's absolutely adorable and she's all into fashion. And she taught me about how to decorate a home on a very small budget because that's all we had was a really small budget. And how to buy clothes that looked high quality
Yeah.
but that were $12. Like that was our budget. So I had to always learn to be really frugal from the very beginning. And I started wearing, I mean, I did model. And so I appreciate you saying that. I started putting my prints on purses and scarves and thought I'm going to do journals and these purses, they took off pretty
Yeah.
well. And then last year, I had an idea to do a hat. I saw someone online and she actually makes her hats. Like she's
A
what
milliner?
a milliner.
Milliner, yeah.
Yes, she's a milliner, and so she's studied. I read her background, her history, and I was just so impressed with the craftsmanship of this young woman, and I found that there were these milliners everywhere. I didn't know anything about this at all. This true artisans, okay? So I was inspired by her work and thought, well, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna play around and do something similar. I don't know what she's using or anything like that, but I made one for myself and took a picture of it. And I was shocked. I wear hats all the time. I've been wearing hats for years. I love a good hat. And I have actually a hat rack in my bedroom with 30 hats stacked up on it. And then they're all in this closet right here, all in this closet.
Yeah.
So the response that I got was so nice. And I thought, wait, you want one too? Okay, well, let me make you one. And so we're now on our 5th launch. I launched 12 of them today, about 2.5 hours ago. And I don't know if I have any left, but I think I may have a couple. Because I see my orders coming in, but they're not expensive, but they are special and they're custom handmade by me. I find my own velvet silk ribbons
Oh, I
that
didn't
are
know. I didn't know that. I honestly did not know that you custom handmade. I thought you just got them in and adorned
No,
them?
I don't mean that I'm no, I'm not doing the hats. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I'm not making the hats. I'm
All right.
getting the hats and then
Yeah.
I am doing the ribbons. The ribbons are
Yeah.
also my drop cloths. I literally take my old drop cloths off the floor, wash them, cut them in strips, and I'm wrapping them around
Wow.
my hat. So you're actually getting my own, it's kind of my own artwork. And I'm doing the hats. And then I found these little iris pins on Etsy. And so they're
Oh,
turquoise irises, and I'm pinning them on there just as this little signature item. I
yeah.
ordered labels, and so my mom comes over and she sews the little labels in there that say the Magic Hour collection from the turquoise iris.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
they're labeled, and it's so much fun. I'm having the best time. So I appreciate you mentioning
Yeah,
that.
and
And
I actually think people more. I think it's Instagram. I think I'm blaming Instagram and the teenagers and the young people, but I do think that more and more people, especially the young ones, they want something that no one else has. They want to be wearing something that nobody else has because of the Instagram and because they can go, oh, this is a one of a kind, and so I think more and more. Um, it's coming back to the seamstress. The seamstresses are
yeah,
getting, people seem to be
yes,
moving away from the big stores and all the 5,000 dresses the same or the five. And I think it is because of Instagram. People, especially the young, I'm talking about, speaking from experience with my children,
yeah,
they want to be different. I have my youngest, I'm not going to talk about me, but my youngest makes their own anime cosplay costumes, and they
yeah.
make their own wigs, and they do because they want to post a picture, post a TikTok, and for people to stop and say, wow, I've never seen that before, and they
Yeah.
say, I made it. So I love your hats, and I love that you're doing that, and love that you've brought your art into fashion, because
Thank you.
I just love that idea that you can buy a little piece of the turquoise iris and you can have it in your home and you can wear it and you can take it with you, and I just love that idea. I think it's brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank you. I just want to encourage other women and men as well, um, to follow your heart. And then people say, "What exactly does that mean?" I love hats. So I remember thinking, how can I personalize this? Certain things I love. I love handbags, but I'm like your daughter. I like things that are unique, and I would be really careful if I was buying a bag. I started buying them from Guatemala years ago, hand embroidered artisans, because I wanted something that nobody else had.
Yeah.
And so I have that same, need to appreciate the person that's
Yeah.
doing something handmade. I just ordered a peacock that's made out of wire from this late girl that I met in South Carolina last week, and she takes this wire and she bends it and she turns it, and all of a sudden she has a huge peacock. And I'm like,
Wow.
she and
Wow.
I'm thinking, and it wasn't expensive. I talked to her about our prices, like, we need to talk,
Yeah.
sister.
Okay.
But after I purchased them, but no, I'm kidding. And then she made, but there's, when you see that type of artistry, and then it's really unique and individualized, she's doing something that she loves and she's turning it into a business. And so I'm just trying to provide a platform where they can learn the basics about social media. I give them challenges. I give them a little bit of accountability. I try to host in-person workshops where we can nurture that community and show the love and support, because I promise you, it's so much easier to just say, I can't do it. It's just easier.
Yeah.
Human nature. It's just easier to go, this is too hard. I'm never going to understand it. But if you have a few people behind you going, wait, hang
Mhm.
on. I think you're just having a bad day. And sometimes our friends and family just don't get it. They don't know what it's like being a creative trying to run a business, do they, Helena?
Yeah, because and I think sometimes when you're creative and you're trying to run a business, the two of them clash, or the two of them don't go hand in hand, because traditionally, or creatives don't make money. They always say, the artist never makes a penny they've died, and then their painting sells, stuff like that. So I think sometimes it is that's the difficult part, is to turn your creativity and your passion and your love, and make a living out of it. And you have done so, just amazingly well. You're
Oh,
true, honestly, true inspiration in this industry. And I hope that everyone who watches this in South Africa, all the South Africa people, and the Europe, Portugal, especially all you Portuguese, that they all go and check out Dionne Woods, the Turquoise Artist, and check out your page and check out your website and all your wonderful, wonderful things. And thank you so much for doing this. We have talked for 45 minutes. And so thank you for doing this for Furniture Painters Unite. And we will be doing more interviews for member spotlight. So everyone beware, because I am coming after you.
Ooh, she's coming after you. She started.
Next.
She said she started with me, but you guys better be ready for the hot seat. Listen, anytime you need me to come on, anytime you want to hang out, Helena, I appreciate you. You guys, we started a magazine last October. We never talked about the Turquoise Irish Journal, but I'm only bringing it up now. I'm only bringing it up now to say that I started this magazine as a platform for creatives, by creatives. So if you go to the turquoiseirishjournal.com, you can scroll down to the bottom and you can submit. Anybody is welcome. There are no requirements other than you posting something that you are super passionate about.
I did not know that. So anyone can send you content for and you might put it in the
anyone. Now we're only going to take probably the first 18, and we try to do a little bit because it's about home, it's about paint, it's about creating. It's a lifestyle magazine. So we even have fashion, and I've done a makeup tutorial, and it's just a little bit of everything. So
brilliant.
Anybody can do a submission, and then every quarter it comes out. It's digital right now, but I'm doing everything I can to bust my tail to figure out how to get it printed as well. And so people, maybe not Ireland, but as of now, if you're in the United States, I'm working very hard by next October to get it printed and to give you both the option. But it's for everyone listening right now.
Oh, that's amazing. I might just submit something next time.
I dare you.
I don't know what. Maybe an Irish recipe, because you can't.
We do recipes too.
Oh, then we'll see. Maybe
we do recipes too. So,
Dionne, that sounds like a challenge.
I said, I dare you. So there you go, sister.
That's brilliant. Honestly, I was not aware of that we could, or that you invite people to put something forward for the content. That's fantastic. So anyone who's watching, again, Portugal, no, I'm joking. Anyone that's watching, I can't write. I would love to be able to write, but I cannot write. I'm no good at it. So anyone who can, and you fancy submitting something to the Turquoise Journal, go to turquoisejournal.com and have a look and see when submissions are over for this one. Yeah,
submissions are over, but keep in mind it's a magazine, so it's more photo heavy than it is wording. So I don't like to write either, so I totally understand that, but we want more images. Our cover artist is going to be Anissa Perry of Nis and That for this issue. It comes out January 14th. Wow. We had Idako Horvath on the issue, one of the most recent issues. We've had Quita Allen, myself, I have been on there. We had Llewellyn Krastiv on the cover, and I'm not going to tell you who the next one is, but I have a feeling you all know who it is. But we come out every quarter. Now, anybody can subscribe. You can get a subscription today, and you can actually buy an annual subscription and get the next 4 issues. So January 14th, but we also have the past issues that are available for $14.97. And the last issue had 208 pages. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's full of
and it's digital, so I can purchase
it for everybody. It's for everybody.
Within 5 minutes.
Absolutely. And then you can click links. So we ask that people submit a free little video tutorial. So if you're a subscriber, you get immediately like 20 tutorials right there.
Brilliant.
For you.
That's brilliant. Oh, thank you so much. See, I honestly did not know that. That's great. That's so exciting. It's exciting for me because I'm in Ireland.
Yeah.
To think that I could send something, pardon me, to you, and it could be in the Turquoise Journal. That's
one of our featured artists coming out this January is in where is she? Germany. I think she's a Germany furniture artist. I'm not going to tell you her name, but I have a feeling you've all seen her work.
Right, okay.
Okay, so
Okay. Right, I'll go and be detective. Put my detective hat on and go be.
yes.
Well, I'm going to say goodbye now,
Okay,
Dionne.
thank
I've
you.
kept it so long, so and thank you so much. And that was all wonderful, and so much information. And good luck with everything. Good luck with everything you do. And I look forward to seeing where it all goes for you in the future.
Same to you. Good luck to you. And I really appreciate your time and everybody listening today. Thank you and have a wonderful holiday season.
Oh, thank you. Happy holidays. Bye.
Absolutely. Thank you.